Good evening, guys. It's Saturday, March 2nd. My name is Dave Coker, and this is Talking About Finance, and I'm awesome. Thank you very much for asking. It's a wonderful evening to meet up. It's a wonderful evening to think. It's a wonderful evening to consider the possibilities, the ideas, the new ways of thinking, the new ways of investing, of achieving financial independence. That's the goal everyone says they want, but few pursue. But you're different. You think differently. You refuse to follow the traditional advice, the widespread advice about buying and holding stock market indexes. Not only are they overpriced, but most concerning, they don't pay you. They have no cash flow. There's no easy way to build wealth with stock market indexes. You want some money? You got to sell some stock. What is wrong with people who suggest such bizarre approaches as a way to get rich? Selling stocks ain't going to make you rich. What planet are they on? You invest, and when you need money, if you own dividend-paying stocks, it's there. It's paid to you every month, every quarter. My personal journey began with building a dividend-paying portfolio of stocks that give me money every month. And from there, after I achieved financial independence in 2002, I pushed out the envelope and started buying rental properties, which also pay monthly. It's pretty simple. It's a much easier approach, a lower stress approach than selling shares. You just collect the money. You perhaps reinvest the money, but even so, no matter what, you get rich slowly. It's the only way to be sure. And that's why we talk about finance. The S&P 500 finished up on the week about 95 basis points. 6 sectors outperformed the index. Technology and real estate, an odd pair if I've ever seen one, leaning the market. And 5 sectors underperformed the market, only one with a gain. And healthcare coming in last, down 1.03% week on week. The VIX traded down on the week to 13.11. It started the week at 13.75. The 10-year note closed the week at 4.18%, down 0.1% on the week and up 0.3% year to date. Oil closed the week at 79.74, down about 4.2% on the week and up about 11.3% year to date. Watch out, Mr. Biden. Some people in banking say oil's going to rip. So guys, yesterday was Friday. You all know what I did. Yeah, I bought Bitcoin. I'm boring you. I'm telling you, this habit of buying Bitcoin is almost 10 years old now. But it never gets old. Fridays I buy Bitcoin. I'll be honest, I've got nothing else to do when I get up at 0400. So I just buy some Bitcoin, have some brekkie, some coffee, off to work. And yesterday was different. Over the past 2 years, as I've told you, I've built up a large position in Ripple. Well, as I mentioned before, 2 weeks ago, I sold 80% so I could buy more Bitcoin. And the rest was sold last night so I could buy more Bitcoin. And I've taken a decision, guys. Now, this is personal, but there won't be any Bitcoin ETFs for me. I hold the Bitcoin in my own wallets. I self-custody. I'm comfortable doing it. I'm not going to start getting involved with Wall Street again to that extent. If Bitcoin ETFs work for you, that's cool. Personally, I just don't need them. So let's take a look at what me and my buddies, some 50 or so finance professionals from all around the planet, talked about last week. And my gosh, look at me. Let me properly introduce us. We are Global Wall Street. And between our networks on Telegram and LinkedIn and WhatsApp, we know everyone, absolutely everyone in global finance. And this week we're reporting from Wall Street. We're reporting from Buenos Aires. We're reporting from San Francisco. We're reporting from Canary Wharf. And we're also reporting from Edinburgh. We have people everywhere, absolutely everywhere that matters. So let's go. 7 slides for 7 days. And let's go forth and engage the markets and take all their money. Now, this is interesting because we're starting to see the reemergence of the YOLO FOMO crowd. I'm starting to see it. Other people have commented on it. And of course, YOLO, you only live once. And FOMO, fear of missing out. And this is when people take irrational decisions in markets. They famously did it going back to the post-pandemic run-up. And we saw it starting to emerge a little bit this year, and we're starting to see it with the indices in particular. The stock market indices are wildly overvalued, and yet people keep piling money into it. So don't fall prey, don't fall victim, don't believe in this FOMO garbage. You got to take risks, guys. Remember, the reward in the market is proportional to the risk you take. You don't want to take YOLO level risks. It just doesn't work out. And I don't see any reason for it. And this is the classic cycle that these guys go through. They get all excited and greedy and they buy. And typically that's at a market top. And yeah, we're close to a market top in the equities. We may see a sharp correction there. And then on the other end, when the market's down, falling or down, they feel the emotions fear and they sell. And then they get impatient and this just repeats. Now, if you invest in dividend-paying stocks like I advise you to do, and rental property, all this becomes as a circus to sit back and watch and enjoy. I certainly enjoy watching it. And it's not that I'm taking pleasure in their pain when they start to scream and yell about how much money they lost or if they're wiped out. I don't take any pleasure in that at all. But I do give this advice, and it's all over the internet. You can see the hundreds of articles I've written on how to get rich. This is not the way. YOLO FOMO is not the way. And we know that the markets are getting a little weird. I've been looking at the technical indicators. I've been commenting on it for about 6 months that I wouldn't be buying too much in this market. And in fact, with stocks, I stopped buying about 6 months ago. Normally, I roll my money, my dividend money, into more shares of dividend-paying stocks. But about 6 months ago, I stopped. I'm letting the cash build up. I still buy Bitcoin. That's different. That's not overvalued. But this is a classic indicator, The Economist. I've been reading them for, 30 years maybe. And whenever they start to talk about the markets going up, no. It's like Kramer. It's a contrarian indicator, meaning, yeah, the end is nigh. And still, when we see this behavior, when people pile in and they end up losing money, they get stressed. They do weird things. And all sorts of acting out. And guys, in my time in investment banking on the trading floor, I saw lots of really weird behavior from people. They are incredibly stressed. They get incredibly angry. And I wrote a story about my crazy boss back at Deutsche Bank in New York. He wasn't doing this stuff. Instead, he was verbally abusing me for the longest possible time. So you want to be very careful. You want to take sensible risks. You don't want to take these YOLO FOMO level risks. Just buy dividend-paying stocks, and you don't have to worry about this garbage because we know that a market correction / crash is near. And this is interesting because for a long time, we did see the Fed intervening. But right now, guys, it's different. America's got too much debt. America's got too much inflation. There are rumors in my circles, I'm very well connected into banking, and we're hearing talk that this time's going to be different. They're going to let it crash and burn. Hey, I like that action. I've got dividend-paying stocks. They don't go down that much when there's a market correction or crash. I've got rental property. I've diversified a lot. I've got other sources of income. And I've mentioned in these chats that we have to you before, you need to build up many, many different sources of income, ideally 7. You need to do that, guys. The articles of mine you find on the internet, I get paid to write them. I sell market research to investment banks. I get paid to write that. I do presentations. I get paid to do that. You got to build these sources up, guys. I love rental property. We're not going to talk about it now. I love dividend-paying stocks. They've been very good to me, and they'll be very good to you. So just buy and get rich slowly, and you'll be happy. And speaking of happiness, really, we're very basic animals, men compared to women. We only need 4 things to be happy: family, fitness, wisdom, and Bitcoin. Well, yeah, this is good stuff. I've got it all. I'm not really buffed like that dude. I don't know if I think I see people on Twitter all the time. They show me, or they show us how they changed over 90 days. I can't go through with that. I'm just far too busy. I'm up at 0400 every day. I leave the house at 6:30, get to the banks in the city, then I go to campus, and then I cycle back and get home, and I usually work until about 9 o'clock, maybe 10 o'clock, and go to sleep. That's what I do. I do, though, as I've mentioned before, I do read lots of books. I'm blessed, and I say it intentionally, with a 1-hour train ride to work. I get through 2 or 3 books a week now. Absolutely incredible. Oh, and you know my Bitcoin story, right? Buy Bitcoin once a week, every week, for almost 10 years. And yeah, you got the Bitcoin. Don't worry about it. So just do that. Put a little bit of money in the market, in the Bitcoin market, or into Bitcoin every week, and you'll be in good shape. And we've talked about PlanB before. And I have an awful lot of time for this guy's work. His research is spot on. Now, remember the color coding. Take a look at the chart, or the label at the top. Blue is accumulation period. Red is a bull market. Yellow is distribution. And green is a bear market. And I've been active in this market for a long time. But regardless, think about this. PlanB says, and he's got a red dot on the extreme right. That's where we are now. He says now we're going into the bull market phase. I tend to believe that. It's entirely possible we're going to see a huge run-up in Bitcoin because the halving is approaching. And right now, as I record this video, we're trading at roughly 62,000. It's come a long way in the past 30 days. Absolutely incredible. We went through the accumulation phase. That's defined as when prices are relatively low and it's relatively cheap to acquire Bitcoin, to buy Bitcoin. The distribution phase, of course, is when people allegedly sell. I've never sold any Bitcoin, except for some Bitcoin I've given to students to get them interested in crypto. And most of my friends have never sold any Bitcoin either. I don't know who in their right mind sells Bitcoin. But regardless, yeah, that's what he says the cycles are. And then green is the bear market that we've got, or we had rather. So we're through that. We're on the way up, and just pay attention to what he says. Okay, guys, it's been wonderful chatting with you. Next week is going to be an awesome week. Put financial independence in your mind as your sight, your target, your goal. Start to go towards it. Read my articles I've written. Look at previous videos that I've recorded here. Listen to my podcasts. I give you all the information you need to know. You're always welcome to contact me privately. Oh, and buy yourself some Bitcoin. Do yourself a favor as well. Take care, guys. We're off to the pub. I recorded this video early tonight. We were going to go to see a show in London, but it's too wet and we couldn't get up there, so we're going off to the pub to drown our sorrows. All right. Take care, guys.